Hello everyone, welcome to this commentary of the Dominion Championship 2021. It's the quarterfinals, hsypsx, or however you pronounce that, versus sillypotter. I am Mort and I am joined by Molo8. Hello.
Molo8 or Mojo8, it's
Mojo?
the same, don't worry.
Alright,
Yeah,
Mojo.
Mojo.
Alright, Mojo8. Welcome everyone. So yeah, let's take a look at the first kingdom. There, and you see some interesting things already.
So we've got Tracker, Conspirator, Necromancer, Port, Shepherd, Displaced Library, Goons, Horde, and Forge. We have also Mission and Palace for Alternate VP. This is a difficult build.
Yeah, so we've got a village with Port, some draw with Livery, plus buy with Goons, gains with Displays as well. Shepherd also draws if you get the victory cards. Trashing seems a bit weak. There's Displays, there's Forge. You can get rid of a lot of coppers with Forges at once if you can draw a bunch. And then there's Necromancer Mason as an alternative. So players already off to the races. So sillypotter on turn 1 used their pouch to buy 2 trackers. hsypsx also gained 1 tracker over a silver. And then
hsypsx got Tracker and Shepherd. And as you were saying, Tilly got 2 trackers and silver.
Yeah, so 2 trackers seems to me a bit risky because there's no villages then, but what do you think about that play?
It's like some risk for winning, because right now sillypotter could just got a Forge, but decides whether for a Shepherd. I mean, these Japanese players I've played sometimes on ladder, they try bold strategies to get like the most benefit out of them.
Right.
And sometimes they work like here.
Yeah, so sillypotter top decked 1 port with tracker but not the other. I'm trying to hit some more, like probably seeing that if they would top deck both, then they would trigger the shuffle with double port and shepherd for draw, and they would rather have the other port in the fresh shuffle. So heads up play.
That's an interesting play because, well, by dividing the ports into top decking and the other go to the discard, they just got to the second one in the shuffle and could have played here, well, if they had drawn Tracker, and Livery, so you can keep top decking horses every turn, and that's a good start to play. Like it's a do it yourself. What's the card, like the 2 cost? Supplies.
Oh, supplies, right.
DIY supplies with Tracker and Livery.
Yeah. Right, so yeah, it's a bit unfortunate that they did not play the livery yet. If they would have played the livery first on hsypsx side, then they like the Earth Gift would have given them an additional horse.
Additional horse and even top deck either Port or Shepherd. I think they haven't still bought Mission until now, which later in the game with Necromancer and Displays you could get have the necessary gains to empty piles or even win the game.
Right, for sure.
Okay, so both now have Goons.
Yeah, do they both have a single copy of livery, or does hsypsx have 2 of them? Oh no, sillypotter bought a livery on turn 5 as well.
So what do you play here? The livery or the tracker? Fields Guild has already passed, so no chance for another action to play.
No. Yeah, it's a tough decision. Like if you play livery, you do have pouch for multiple buys, so you would have 7 coins. I like a 2 and a 5, but like I don't think you want another tracker because you don't really have the terminal space for it. Like, as like as shown here with his hand. He probably wants some additional ports, but they go for a forge to maybe try to draw a big hand and then forge a bunch of copper. And I'm not sure actually whether you want to forge your estates because you do have some amount of shepherds.
Maybe you forge a tracker with the coppers and a silver, and you can get either livery or displays.
Yes.
And it's an initial thought.
Yeah, that
Or
seems
risk one of the states to get a shepherd and then buy another state, but maybe that wouldn't sound practical.
yeah. If you at some point like have deck control, you can just with goons you can just buy a bunch of copper every turn and just trash them with forge. Like you can calculate how much draw you have, and then try to draw that every turn and just buy a bunch of coppers for points with goons.
It's an interesting possibility, that one. Well, you have only, well, up to the number of goons and pouch for plus buy.
Yeah, that is
So
true.
right now both have up to 3 gains every turn. So no.
Yeah, 3 actual buys and then a bunch more gains with displays. Possibly Horde, although I don't think Horde will see play this kingdom. Seems too slow. You don't mind golds like with displays generally. I guess you can displace golds into province, but here it just seems too slow. There's other stuff you can do for more explosive decks and like with goons. As a big source of alt PP, you don't really. You don't mind if you get behind them, like if you lose quote unquote province split, if you just get more points off goons. And the attack also seems pretty tough because there's not a lot of draw. The draw is shepherd or livery horses.
Well, the shepherd and livery ones with multiple gains. I think here as which hsypsx, you could buy port and maybe a second livery.
There's a pretty big turn for
your horses.
Yeah, so pretty big turn for hsypsx. They do have 4 terminals with goons, livery, and 2 trackers, I think.
They have, both have 2 trackers.
Yeah, sillypotter bought the forge, so another port does make sense to try to just stay reliable.
Let's see which are the other 4.
Right. Another port, maybe just try to win the port split and gain a bunch of horses in process to top deck all of those. Yeah, alright, so they now have 8 of the 12 ports, and sillypotter has 2 and can gain up to 4 if they buy both this turn, which they will not be able to. Well, they could have just bought nothing. Wait, they did have.
They bought a mission and.
Oh, they bought a mission. Right. Oh, there was a second turn.
That was very bold because they needed the port. Another couple of ports because right now, hsypsx can take the split 10-2.
Yeah.
That's just.
Yeah, and then you can
puts sillypotter in a tough spot.
Yeah, for sure. Because if you only have 2 ports, you can like play maybe 1 livery and 2 goons, and that's it. And you just you can't really take advantage of the livery draw, because if you play livery and goons, then you won't have played tracker, so you can't actually top deck your horses. And if you do want to play tracker and livery and goons, then you don't double goons for more points. You can't really play with your forge, which you did buy. So denying the last two ports seems very powerful for hsypsx.
Yeah, I think maybe sillypotter. We'll see later. Incoming turns, if he goes more for a mission kind of deck to try to run their piles as fast as he can. That seems difficult. Yeah,
so you could port plus mission here, which he does. Try to get the goons attack in. You could stop there, and they do, to not have those 3 ports and the shepherd miss the shuffle. Unfortunate flames gift here. Not really, like you don't really want to trash your pouch because the plus buy is pretty relevant with goons on board.
Yeah, and now with this 10-2 village split.
Yeah. And there is the forge for his weeks. So sillypotter has the option of trashing 2 coppers and a silver for another silver. Which, like, you can also just trash 2 coppers for a single copper and then buy 5. Because I don't think you want a 7 cost here, so you don't really need all your money. It's on.
I think as silly you just think 1 copper, copper and silver, play livery with copper and buy a necromancer or conspirator, but I would be more inclined with necromancer. This likely cantrip with zombie spy. You get a little help right now. Fortunately, right now all this hand is just province, but it's not used.
It's good by mission.
Mission.
Clear some background
Or
at the top of their deck, at least. Like a non-optional silver there. I don't think hsypsx is actually interested in gaining silvers, but no choice to say no there.
That silver can be become goons with the second silver that they have, because I think both took 1 silver
true.
at the start.
With the forge.
Yeah. I think you discard livery and pouch. Sillypotter, you will. Oh, you were trying to find the shepherd.
I'm not sure whether their shepherds have already gone. They use at least. Oh no, none of them did. But you only have 1 draw to find shepherd. Maybe they're just going for trying to find perhaps like just buy mission and then. And then in the next turn find their forge on the mission turn, because this turn this hand doesn't really accomplish very much.
Maybe a hsypsx, but not anymore. Conspirator could be a good buy. Just conspirator, nothing else.
Yeah.
Get some payload and get more flexibility on the mission turns.
Yeah. So they end up forging a state copper and tracker into a shepherd. So gaining a shepherd but thinning an estate. They should be able to just gain some more states though, or maybe some other point cards. And the Willows did actually draw the shepherd, so if they would have discarded that, not discarded that estate, that would have been better. But yeah, I'm not sure whether you can just take that risk. Here, just attack instead of forging. Bit of an unfortunate shuffle that last one for sillypotter. I think they, like, all their good cards were in the bottom 5, it seemed. Like forge, goons, 2 ports, and a tracker. So yeah, not really couldn't really afford to play the ports to try to goons and forge on that turn, because then you lose both of the ports in the next shuffle, which you can't really do.
Yeah, you want to see them usually separate, but I think right now hsypsx instead of double state, maybe a necromancer, because right now with forge they already trashed a tracker. I mean, you don't get the top decking ability, but you can still get the bond money.
Yeah.
You can also make some reason to get the necromancer space and heal actions to make them use.
Yeah. Because like the 10 ports might be more than they need, so could be some apprentice food perhaps. Although they probably want to be a bit more thin, like in general with forge probably, before they will try to get thin their ports. So a whole bunch of active plays, but not very not too big effect. Just a state buy. to go along with their 3 shepherds.
Okay,
A pretty good
here.
hand for sillypotter.
I think you have to keep growing here. Yeah.
Yeah, now I have to choose between which terminal. So if you wouldn't have played that tracker, then you could play both Livery and Forge, but then you don't really have much to forge anyway, so probably just Livery here. Which would give 8 coins. You could buy like double 4 for 2 horses and top deck the horses, perhaps top deck 2 horses and a conspirator. Or just mission.
Double horses are fine. Maybe you buy not anymore. Mission and Necromancer or Conspirator.
Yeah. They seem to value the
Mancer has more value.
Yeah. Yeah, they seem to value the goons attack by a lot because they keep missioning and trying to find their goons, it seems, because I don't think they have that much other stuff to do in their mission turns yet.
Yeah, that's the reason to get like. Well, you could have gotten a clean shuffle. Ah, okay, I see what they tried. They tried to find the
Other
forge, so finally
right.
get the.
So then you probably, because Field's Gift, it's a very good gift for them at this point, because they will be able to play both Goons and Forge if they find it, but they do not find Forge.
But no such luck.
No, they do still have the Forge in those bottom 7 cards, but you can't really do much useful here. I don't think you can gain any cards here. So there's a Forge.
What do you get here? Displace maybe and start displacing coppers?
Yeah, hsypsx is going for the more draw, more reliability, and then worry about winning some other time. Of note that the piles are getting a bit low, only 3 shepherds and 5 estates remaining. Not close to like being able to buy this up in a single turn. Because I think hsypsx also still only has 4 gains with the Goons, Forge, and their pouch and the first buy. So no ending threat
right
yet.
Now,
but
what do you discard here?
yeah. So you don't see a shepherd here, but there are 2 still in those bottom 10 cards. Oh no, they played already. Oh, they played 1, so there's only 1 left in those 10 cards. So I think you discard a state, but they do not.
Okay, this mission without a gainer rather than torch are pretty awkward.
Yeah, so they keep playing. Sorry, go ahead.
You were saying.
Yeah, they keep playing their tracker before the drawing with their shepherd. What do you think that is? Just for
maybe to find a boon that will help them, like this gift, maybe, or even Wind's gift right now.
Yeah, just trying to find
more of the hope.
Yeah, trying to find more victory cards to be able to draw more with shepherd. Because it does have a risk attached to it, because if you play your tracker, then draw other terminals that are better than tracker, then you might not be able to play those. So it's a trade-off for sure. Probably the optimal play is to like track the boon deck, see which have gone already, and then based on that decide whether to play your tracker first or your shepherd. Let's say trash copper here probably, yes. So at least one useful thing for an mission turn. And what do you do here?
Do you trash everything here for a province, or just tracker shepherd copper for?
Yeah.
Or that doesn't seem useful.
Perhaps second goons, But then you lose your shepherd, and you probably still want shepherd. Probably do want to get rid of your tracker, I think. Oh, they do go for the points. Right, another silver.
Yeah, because right now, well, so far, sillypotter's goons haven't gained them any points.
No.
All they have played them are during mission turns.
Yeah, or play goons by mission.
Yeah.
Both of which do not gain you any points. So yeah.
I think you show here as sillypotter by state. The mission.
Yeah, estate does lower the estate piles some more while you're behind in points, but I think you have to try something at least. They opt not to. I don't think.
Right now, that state could have drawn us cards.
Yeah, I think like sillypotter only has 2 shepherds left. To hsypsx 4, and 1 in the trash. So I don't fault them for it.
3.
So no way to gain province off a forge here, unfortunately. Perhaps if you shepherd draw, and then you might get a chance to. Right, they just swap out their shepherd for their estate. So if they're gonna try to like get rid of all your shepherds, then not buying the estate does make sense.
So just state.
Yeah.
6.
Yeah, they aren't really reliable yet at all. hsypsx has had his fair share of awkward turns.
But right now, so when they bought Necromancer, but now Necromancers are shepherds.
Yeah, that is true. That is certainly true. Necromancers are just more flexible shepherd. You can also, again, there's already 2 shepherds in the discard pile, so even the second Necromancer can still be shepherd, or just a livery even.
Just crashed.
So Necromancers seem pretty good here. There's no, I guess that's a reason for hsypsx not to, like, try not to trash ports at all. Because if you trash ports, then sillypotter's necros become ports, and you don't think you really want that to happen. But
in a pinch, they help you. Necromancer, I think, is one of the most undervalued action cards in the game.
Really?
And there's trashing, but also it's one of the most difficult to play them. Develop because you need trash to play them. Well, trash actions. But once you get some kind of control with them, you don't play just the zombies, which well, they are okay.
Yeah.
Right now, like, you have a shepherd, you have tracker, you have livery, you have all this flexibility for actions. And also in late game, well, in some games, with certain control, Necromancer can just mill provinces if you can keep the track of all your cards.
Yep, with Mason. Bit awkward here if you want to play all your terminals, then you have to play port, but then you put 2 victory cards on top, which might be fine actually if you get some more Necromancers and /or shepherds.
Right now we're on a mission turn.
Alright, so their Necromancer can get a boon with tracker, can perhaps Mason to mill a province, although that doesn't seem too exciting because you don't have a points lead yet. Go for livery.
Okay. Oh, you turn the pawn and copper into another Necromancer right now.
Yeah, that does give you a horse as well. Could also try to get a province for the low cost of the port. So they do trash the port, but then their Necromancer is a port still, so right. But hsypsx opting not to trigger that shuffle with their final port in their hand. Would rather not have 5 ports missed shuffle, or 6 ports even.
But right now we're seeing hsypsx with a 3+ deck, and sillypotter is just under 15 cards right now.
Yeah, very thin indeed. So even though they do not have the actions, they do. Yeah, they seem to be doing more stuff than hsypsx, more deck control, of course. Yeah, as mentioned earlier, hsypsx's turns have been quite awkward and not really amounting to that much. Like they can't seem to line up a favorable turn with Shepherd for more than that cycling.
So,
which I'm not sure whether that's unfortunate draws or shuffles, or where they should have been able to avoid those.
I think also not being able to crash coppers. Well, aside getting all these awkward hands with Shepherd. Like,
Yeah.
right
here
now,
again,
you just get cards and one of them are green cards.
Yeah, so if you by this stage you tie the points because you still have your pasture, but yeah, they choose not to. A bit afraid of the low piles.
So, good. Keep drawing here. No.
Let's draw deck here, and you can keep the horse. So sillypotter has a lot of pile control with the forge and the necklace from Mason if they are able to. They don't have a lot of money though. Like I think they trashed the livery, so they can only get money from livery by playing their necromancer as it, but they already did that. The last card is a points card as well, so they only have 4 coins unless they forge something into something worth coins.
Some money. I'd be thinking you try. Well, you draw with Will-O-Wisp and trash the horse into a silver. Maybe, and buy just a necromancer right now.
Well, if you play your Will-O-Wisp, you like. I think top decking a points card could be better than not, but I'm not sure. Like you only have 1 Shepherd and 1 Necro. You would rather not have to play your Necro as Shepherd for draw. So yeah, probably drawing the state seems to be better than leading it on top. So a lot of options with this forge.
You could then trash. No, you don't trash right now and skip the mission. I think you need another necromancer. No.
Yeah, necromancer seems really good here. Is there any argument for perhaps forging a horse in the state into this place? It does lose you the points, but
yeah. I mean, you can turn the pasture into a 4 or threaten the shepherd of the state.
I mean,
but right now, well, you haven't seen. There's only 3 cards left for the pile out. Well, for a possible pile out. Is there a win here? 1. Oh no, you need 2 more
no, you're
cards.
an action short. Perhaps they
Conspirator, perhaps?
Perhaps they could have, if they forged something, then draw that with horse. Then I don't think there's anything good to forge there to be able to buy last kind of stuff.
If silly draws right now, it's almost a win.
Yeah, so
There we go.
yeah,
Well, we just won both villages, and later just one. Sillypotter just made a comeback, and got the control.
Yeah, hsypsx never really did get the control, and it was kind of just have a bit of like an awkward deck, not really drawing, not really doing much with their turns. A lot of duds, it seemed.
Mm-hmm. The states and cover for fun. Goons by Shepherd.
Yep, that's just enough
There we go.
points. All right.
Even without goons.
So that's 1-0 for sillypotter. They were first player. So it is now hsypsx.
Well, so far, well, seeing this result, hsypsx just got to trash 1 copper because they kept the pasture and the... Oh, they didn't trash at all. They have the 5 coppers,
Yeah.
the pouch and pasture.
Yeah, they never really were able to line up some shepherd draw to get a big hand to be able to play their forge for a good amount.
Mm-hmm.
So first game going to sillypotter. Alright, so the second kingdom, mission again. And then the rest of the cards are Haven, Farmers Market, Fool, Cemetery, Priest, Procession, Research, Minstrel, City, and Hireling. And there's also a project in Canal. So you do start with both Haunted Mirror and Lucky Coin. So there's villages, there's one in Minstrel, there's City, there's also Procession. Seems like a pretty good Procession board on first blush. Draw.
Minstrel.
Yeah, it seems a bit
Draw is
weak
research.
on draw. Yeah, the research there's Hireling kind of. There's City as when one pile's empty.
Yeah.
There's some pretty decent trashing with Priest and Cemetery. And
Good. Well, there's also a Wisp for draw if you get it from Fool.
right, that is true. Ghost as a village, right. Yeah, there's you can get a lot of silvers, and you probably do want some amount of silver, but not a lot on this kingdom, I think, because you do want to reliably be able to buy 4 costs.
I mean, within this interview that Strava and company, Strav, Terra, and SSLI, and I think I'm missing one person. One card which sillypotter was pointing out is he finds it difficult to play with, it's Procession, as we're seeing here. And there could be a case for Procession here. I mean, you've got the 3 to 4s and the 4s to a grade 5.
Yeah.
Could even think assessing a city to get a hireling if you can play your deck and put it on play in the same turn.
Yeah.
I could see later on playing with just 1 Procession.
Right.
Like, for example, you can a Fool and just turn it into a Wandering Minstrel or Priest or Research.
Right.
Then you don't have the Fool as a stop card. You have Treasure at Trash for Benefit, which is Priest, or Wandering Minstrel as a Sifter, or Research as a draw.
Right. So you can also Procession Priest for getting a lot of money because I think you get 8 coins off it. If you can get 2 coins, then you play it twice first and then trash it. So you play Priest, gain 2 coins, trash something. Play second Priest, gain 2 coins up to 4, trash something, gain 2 coins up to the first Priest, and then trash the Priest itself to gain 4 more.
Yeah, and
So
also
that's,
to this tricky part with Farmers Market Procession, like there are already 3 or 2, and well, no, it's 3. 3 and you play twice, and boom, you get points and then gain a card.
Yeah.
It's would be an interesting if either player gets Procession working in this.
Yeah.
Board.
So Farmers Market is the only plus buy up until the second pile runs out for City. So yeah, Canal does work best with a lot of buys. Which you don't have
also,
yet.
Canals works for Wisp if you want to draw all your 3 cost cards.
Right, that's very true. So sillypotter is quite thin already, although they did research for 4 just now. They have let's see, 4, 5, 11 cards in their deck, along with it.
The downside right now for Canal is that research draw less cards. You set aside less cards.
Right, but I think this research has mostly been here for trashing the cemetery. You gain like buy cemetery to trash a bunch of cards, and then research the cemetery to get some draw. hsypsx opting for priest as their trashing of choice. Well, yeah, they're a bit slower on the trashing because they don't have a research, haven't bought a cemetery yet. So, yeah.
So you buy, and you will be ghosting a priest, nonetheless. Oh,
Oh, goes hireling. That's very good. So does it mean your ghost goes away, or
stays away because
okay.
hireling stays in play.
Right. So, not actually sure whether that's fortunate or unfortunate. Because the ghost is a good card in your deck, but like double hireling is also pretty good.
I mean, you do get a 7-card hard every turn, so it's noteworthy, and you stop worrying about getting actions. I think maybe you just go something more money-ish, sillypotter right now.
Really?
You can build a little bigger, or even get to the procession online, as you were saying earlier.
Yeah. I think if
your thing, you can cycle faster.
Yeah. So like they're pretty thin. I think there's some amount of procession farmers market you can do for economy, because the other actions don't really provide economy except for priest, but that means you have to trash even more stuff, and if you're already thin, then playing priest for economy is not a great plan, especially if you you would have to spend all your buys on things to trash with.
So you
so they
here
probably need to get some amount of farmers market, and but then if you gain farmers market, you also need villages. So what do you gain first, villages or buys?
I would think it buys right now.
Yeah, and they do choose to gain another silver with their lucky coin.
And right now you're drawing deck as sillypotter easily. So
yeah, there's not much of a deck to speak of, so yeah. Like even their Haven won't be able to draw a card anymore. It's mostly due
on
to
the other side, hsypsx has already 2 hirelings, so they also have a 7-card hand every turn.
Yep. They have 2 buys to spend here, so
maybe a fool and the farmer's market.
I'm not sure whether you need a second farmer's market right now, because like I think as hsypsx you want to focus a bit more on deck control and building up economy before you get your third buy. Because now already like you can't really optimally use your second buy yet. Using mission to get a Haven in play as well as trashing with priest. They could buy Canal. Yeah, they do. Because hsypsx doesn't have a research yet, so Canal doesn't actually hurt them.
Like a silver, copper. Ensure your is trashing.
So again, 2 coins of the farmers market, so you have up to 11 if you set aside a 1 coin card, or 10 with 2 buys. So probably city market perhaps. Oh, they go for Canal and a city. Right, so they do want a village. Then perhaps you turn after this one.
Wandering.
They will get their second plus buy card. Right, hsypsx is almost drawing deck, but not quite. They
Yeah,
just have to get some few trashes in, and then they will be able to relatively soon. Right, so they're going for another hiling,
Okay.
and they probably knew that they had 2 coppers left, so choosing to get rid of the ghost to be able to get 2 more hirelings in play.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you buy here? Oh, well, you can
Well,
buy
it's a mission
nothing.
turn, so
Yeah.
you can gain the silver, and if you're drawing a 9-card opening hand, then getting silver is probably fine. Yeah, because you only have 9 cards in your deck currently, with 1 card set aside with Haven. So
So both
hsypsx
are.
a bit later than sillypotter, but also have achieved the deck control. But they do seem maybe a bit behind in getting their economy online. Although they should probably stay more reliable into the late game because they have 4 hirelings rather than 2.
So do you buy procession here and mission to get the points from farmers market? Although you wouldn't be buying a second one.
Yeah, I don't think you can afford to trash your farmers market in a turn where you can't buy it back, because then you will have only 1 buy in your next turn, which seems not great because you have to spend a full turn to just gain farmers market. I guess you could procession Haven into farmers market at some point.
So you can proc the duration to the errata some years ago. Right? You would get the procession. Maybe a second farmers market. I mean,
Yeah, they do have a lot
Type
of
6 is getting the points whatsoever.
Yeah, but like if hsypsx wants to get the points, they lose their farmers market and they lose their plus buy. So that might just be worth it for sillypotter. But they even choose not to play their farmers market.
Wouldn't you
Just buy a
choose
just buy a single procession. So hsypsx also valuing their farmers market more than 4 points.
Right now, you don't find your possession or your city.
Yeah, so they they are less reliable than hsypsx because they only have 2 hirelings in play, or 2 hireling effects due to their ghost and hireling. They do end up thinning an additional copper, so becoming ever so slightly more reliable for future turns, but not really much use for this one.
Yeah, but I mean, you could have just trashed this farmers market by mission other farmers market.
Yeah, so they end up valuing the copper trash more than the 4 points, it seems. Yeah, I guess if you just play a farmers market for points, then you can probably just buy farmers market mission and get your priest trash in that way.
So now we get to trash E. Oh,
so hsypsx does end up processing their farmers market, and then we'll be able to buy it back now, along with perhaps some other stuff.
I mean, you have to recover the farmers market. It's one of the buys.
Yeah, for sure. And then I was thinking about perhaps you can farmers market mission, and then like if you process both farmers markets, you get the 4 points again, but then you don't have a way to gain back the farmers market that turn, so that's probably not a good idea.
That's it. You've got 1 silver set aside. Maybe they're thinking about playing their lucky. Okay, no. Farmers market, mission. Okay. We start the madness.
So, useful stuff you can do in your mission turn now includes processioning some stuff into bigger stuff, priesting if you decide you want fewer silvers in your deck. I don't think you're interested in growing the farmers market pile.
Mm, maybe, I mean, you can leave some tokens on the farmer's market pile in your mission turns. So on your regular turn, you can just pop them.
Yeah. Let's choose to keep a possession for another turn. Get rid of their farmer's market. And get a bunch of money, which they can't do anything with. So hsypsx apparently thinks that it is worse for the opponent to have to buy back the farmer's market, even though they do gain 4 points, which...
Yeah, which they will. But that was a questionable play.
You think so? You don't think...
Yeah, I mean, if we were trying to just gain another possession or something, you could have just bought a full instead of farmers market.
Yeah.
Ooh, denying money. Well, that's...
But this way, you... Well, I think it's more... Like, it's less denying money, because, like, I think Sillypotter's economy is plenty big. But I think it's more a factor of making your opponent trash their farmers markets. So they have to spend buys on farmers markets.
Okay, yeah, that's...
Rather than the actual coins it provides.
Okay. Somewhere until this proc.
Yeah, so we have solidly arrived at the procession part of this game. A lot of processions being played every turn, and a lot of stuff being processed into farmers market into priests, or more processions.
And they're thinking some wandering minstrels. I mean, just 2 villages have been taken off of the board.
Yeah, but this is perhaps not necessary with procession already on the board, which can give more like a village effect by processing a haven, or perhaps like this, like just processing one rank will give you enough actions for all of your terminals.
But you can proc a haven, because haven is a duration and procession is just non-duration cards.
Oh, my apologies. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So
I mean,
getting more villages here would be just for processing them and drawing. For example, farmers market, full priest processing. You can get to draw them again and make it kind of a loop. Rather for the action, you want them for the trip effect. Let's say it.
Yeah. So the past situation is currently that 4 havens, 4 farmers markets, and 5 processions, so not close to pile out quite yet, but they might be thinking about how they want to approach the end game currently. They kind of want to set up the deck to be able to perhaps create pile pressure, or how deciding how and when they would like to score. So processing another farmer's market here to get some more buys. But that does mean you need to buy a farmer's market again, probably. They did set aside a procession with Haven, but they don't have any farmer's markets in their deck anymore, so...
I think it would be the same buy again, double farmer's market mission.
Yeah, but this time the farmer's markets are already on 4, so your mission turn might not be accomplishing very much. So you could also decide to buy farmer's market double province, perhaps.
I don't think province is
probably too soon
necessary right now.
Yeah, just going for the triple farmer's market instead.
And hopefully we're, I mean, playing the priest for procession. I mean, it's 2 coins, but I don't think it has that value due to Kano.
Yeah, they
things cheaper.
They spent a grand total of 6 out of their possible 16 coins, so not really. Like money was not the bottleneck on that turn. It was certainly buys, and they have now acquired more buys for their deck. So yeah, choosing to again leave the farmer's market pile at 4 points to force your opponent to trash their farmer's market, which they do. So they set aside the farmer's market and process procession to gain a city, get a bunch of priests, or play a bunch of priest effects. Get a bunch of money, but again, only 3 buys. So as sillypotter, perhaps you want to also do the same to hsypsx to buy mission to be able to leave the farmer's market pile at 4.
Okay, take procession into city. Get a procession to get a city.
So they are going for the points that provinces provide.
Mm-hmm.
And the final farmers market as well. So
Right
now the cities draw a whole bunch, so you're definitely not draw limited anymore. So how do you approach this as hsypsx? So
play first the priest, farmers market, priest effect.
Trashing silver and another silver. So to get a bunch of money off of their priest. And then some more money here. Probably maybe trashing city here? Yeah, because I think you want to might want to keep around those farmers markets. Although
right now you can leave them in 4 points. You don't take them.
yes, how much money do they have? They can have wait. They have a bunch of money.
Oh, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, they did a triple procession chain and then trash farmers market. Like they do gain 4 coins for each procession play due to like percent trashing whatever you play, and having 2 priest effects active. So a lot of money here. Can you even what happens if you priest again, and then process a farmers market to get a bunch of buys? Do you have enough for quintuple province?
For a win, 5 buys.
So if you process a farmers market, you have 6 buys. We need to have 11 additional coins. Priest gives 6, then procession gives another 6. So I think that's enough already, right? Play priest, process farmers market. Yeah, alright, so.
Farmers.
Hextuple for province.
Wow, pretty nice, man.
A very big turn, even more.
I mean, these are these wacky procession plays.
Yeah, with even 14 coins to spare. Way overshot the province. Amount of money necessary for provinces.
They almost could have taken 8 provinces.
Yeah, they were quite, they had 7 buys, so almost. Right, sillypotter will be right back, so I'm gonna stop and start recording. So see you in a second. Alright, so welcome back to the 3rd game.
Game 3 of quarterfinals. Quarterfinals between hsypsx and sillypotter. Oh no, man, more position than with fortress.
Oh, so but
awful.
So the 5s you can gain off of that is like the 5s don't seem that exciting except royal carriage, but royal carriage is a pretty good one.
Yeah.
So
when you align royal carriage and procession, and you just empty the 5s, and just you can just turn the 5s into imps or wisps. And I don't think ghost is that important right here.
Okay. So what we have, so fortress is a village, which you probably do want to play with along with procession. There, like the only draw here I can see is process fortress, then play fortress.
And the spirits.
The spirits, yes, that's true. So exercise fortress to gain imps, perhaps. No good 3.
It's pretty reasonable. It's pretty reasonable. They both open silver exorcist.
Yeah, that does make sense. Probably like use access to trash your estates into wisps, and then at some point can probably mint the coppers away. you need some amount of economy to be able to afford a grand market, which grand market does seem decent here. Like the only other plus buy is Skulk, and grand market that seems miles better than that.
I mean, there's some silly foolish stuff that you can do with mains. I mean, you can proc your main with coppers, and you draw those coppers with counting house. I mean, it's silly, but it's drawn somehow.
Yeah, I think your limiting factor will be draw. Is there? So there's also talisman on here, and you probably do want a bunch of fortresses and processions. So is talisman a consideration here?
Yeah, that's maybe just to run the fortress. I mean, skulks or procs. No, I think you maybe just need one talisman, maybe two to accelerate that, but it's not that important, in my opinion.
So sillypotter got a quick second exorcist and also a skulk. Well, hsypsx in their second shuffle bought a second silver as well as a second exorcist too. So hsypsx with their silvers, they did gain a royal carriage, while Potter's first 5 will be this turn probably.
And also, Bolivar is pointing out assessing royal carriages into grand markets, and you don't trash them because they go directly into the mat.
Ooh.
So, I mean, this is some high-level stuff with procession between royal carriage and fortress. They never get trashed, and you can play them every turn. I mean, procession the fortress goes into royal carriage, you process the royal carriage, you play the royal carriage, you gain the grand market, you call the royal carriage into the procession again, and it's madness.
So, still objective number 1, get thin enough where you can reliably do that, which they seem to be well on their way. They've trashed, well, I guess 4 starter cards as of yet, along with a silver has been trashed for an imp for hsypsx. So they are getting ahead on the draw. They did have to call their carriage on the wisp here, although I guess they don't have any other action cards they can call it on, except their fortress.
They have an imp that they could have they could have drawn.
Right.
They didn't, and it's. I think maybe you. Procession here or second royal carriage. I mean, there's also this
too soon because like you do have to line up procession with another action card, and they only have they don't really want to you don't really want to trash imp or widows to your procession. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, procession seemed a bit soon, and they ended up buying Skulk for economy purposes probably. Right. So.
I mean, there's also this fun interaction that with say 2 or 3 royal carriages, you can play your imps as laboratories, because play imp royal carriage, you put the royal carriage on the mat. I mean, it's not in play, so play a second imp and just play another royal carriage. I mean, it's a fun interaction,
right?
Because imps become non-terminal.
Right. But as soon as you call one royal carriage, then you can't choose to play additional royal carriages with your imp. At that point, you probably did enough. So yeah. Sillypotter gave greed to hsypsx, and hsypsx gave plague to Sillypotter. Probably the curse in hand is. It seems to me a bit worse for the player receiving it than a copper, because you can trash copper with mint while you have to spend an exorcist to play while trashing the curse. Well, that seems in this hand they didn't have anything else to trash, so seems fine. Like if you have to trash curse over a state, or that's will get in the way a bit. But not too
What do
bad
you
here.
think of this? What do you think of this bargaining for the royal carriage? I mean, the city porter had diluted. You just gave your opponent a horse. I mean, we know horse and processions are lucky stick.
Yeah, it's pretty good, but like I think
And you can.
you can't really
Oh, you.
you don't really want to skip your entire turn and just do nothing. Um, so I think it's begrudgingly worth it, almost. 'Cause you do like need some amount of royal carriages in your deck. So like in this hand, sillypotter can just like process their carriage, and perhaps they wouldn't have been able to otherwise. Hard to say, of course, but
So they're getting possession. I mean, right now we're seeing a hsypsx. They just got procession and horse, and you gain automatically the procession right now. You know, you can keep it, but I think it's worth the value
so.
getting a free procession.
So sillypotter did not opt to process the carriage, but play carriage and call procession on fortress instead. So they didn't gain grand market, but gained another royal carriage instead.
So City Porter with a couple of mints out of possessing the fortress.
Right. So that doesn't mean more gold.
Okay.
So they choose to leave the other two carriages on the mat. What is it? Is it 4 royal carriages to 1 in sillypotter's favor? That's
I think so.
That's pretty good, it seems. A carriage does enable a whole bunch of stuff. Right. hsypsx was trying to find that royal carriage with all the draw to be able to process the royal carriage, it seems, but they bottom decked it, so they weren't able to. So they had
So
to,
I think you just leave them on the mat right now.
yeah. So only one buy, unfortunately, so you can't even buy grand market, so you probably want to just... And you gain more royal carriage to be able to... You probably should, right?
I think they're going to mint.
Oh,
Now I
right.
get maybe 2 imps. I mean, I don't think Ghost will have time to pay off at this point. Or you can just trash the second exorcist into an imp and keep the 5 coins.
So if you get rid of, like, thin a whole bunch and just get more draw, then like they only have 1 possession for gains, and that will be all their economy if they charge both their treasure cards. So I think that's ill-advised.
Okay, so I think you imp.
I think you wisp here. I kind of want to try to carriage grand market a bunch.
But what will you buying? Will be buying? And proc here royal carriage.
Yeah,
Get a
royal
grand
carriage.
market. Yes.
So let's choose the wisp first. Top like a mint. So I could call a bunch of royal carriages on this to gain more buys, perhaps. So I could triple procession here, like process carriage, and then probably process mint as well to gain another grand market. Get rid of the mint. We could or we could also exorcise mints and just process fortresses. They do not process the carriage, it seems, unless they call the carriage and then process the one in the hand.
So you royal carriage on procession, again on fortress, and have split so far.
Right, so they now do end up carriaging the procession and then call on again.
Oh man.
Yeah, procession is certainly a card that does tough.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of probably want to buy some more procession. So you can exorcist both mints, or you can maybe mint some more gold, because you do have some overdraw here. So you could easily
can mint a gold.
you could choose to
Grand
mint
market and
both
buy.
golds, like then draw the grand market. Probably you could double exorcist your fortress, gain some more imps.
All right, more imps, more wisps.
Yeah, whichever your heart desires. Probably imp at this point, like the wisp. The only card the wisp is drawing is imps or wisps. So I think, and like the sillypotter currently has 12 actions in your action pool still, so I don't think you're quite action limited where you want wisps over imps. So much money do I have? Possibly, like if they do gain a gold and draw it, they will have 12, 16, 18 money with the grand market.
Up to 19, no? If we double mint.
Oh, if you double mint, yeah. If you double mint, you can't exorcist your fortresses.
You're right.
But they're
planning on
probably exorcising their mints, yeah. So they don't actually want more gold. I think I don't mind more gold because you're overdrawing already, although it does have more stop cards, so your opening hand might dud slightly more often, especially if you also keep all the mints. So that might be they might feel they're ahead already, where they don't need to take such a risk of keeping stop cards in their deck. So I think I definitely want. Go ahead.
On the other hand, you gotta extra the fortress into an imp and a wisp to have some kind of balance within the draw. So you get a colony, and we're afraid of pile out, or just get the procession and grand market.
I think you might even want 2 processions, because you can gain grand markets off of processions, but you can't gain procession off of, like, you cannot mid-turn gain processions, I don't think.
Okay, yeah.
And like, it seems on this board that procession enables the most explosive stuff.
Maybe a talisman right here?
Just for power pressure, perhaps. Oh no, I don't think that's. I think it's worth, because it is another stop card, and I don't think you're gonna have, like, royal carriages are definitely gonna run, probably grand markets as well, because you can process carriages, and then I think procession maybe even like threatens more power pressure than talisman does, because each procession you can call carriages on as well. And like I don't think the 4 costs is what the ones that are gonna run. Like if you want, you can just like process a bunch of fortresses into mints to just have that as a third pile.
Okay. I mean, the other hand is you can just mint the talisman and get that in 2 buys, just empty either fortress and procession, just 8 coins.
So yeah, hsypsx like getting bottlenecked by the amount of carriages it can play and resolve call. So like they started with 2 on the mat already, so they weren't able to process those 2 to gain perhaps some grand markets.
So you couldn't even think of in a counting house just to get a grand market.
If you don't want to lower mint, maybe. So they can call procession, process will-o-wisp perhaps to get much more draw. Oh, they can play imps. That's also pretty good.
The top card is a gold. What? Okay.
Alright, so process
Market.
carriage again. Process fortress mostly for draw, and then just gain a random 5 cost. So it's usually to lower the mint pile rather than like counting house is just as an effect worse than mint because mint can gain golds or perhaps even platina. But counting house has the upside of not lowering the mint pile. It has some hidden tax on it. So yeah, so if they don't play their silver, they probably want to exorcist this silver, which does make sense. Silver isn't really doing much for them here. But yeah, they are less explosive than
You play
sillypotter is.
silver, can buy
they
Grand
do.
Market Colony, but nah.
Yeah, single colony doesn't really. Oh, this is lowering piles a whole bunch. Not sure whether I like it. I think sillypotter has a relatively straightforward win here, perhaps, with just processing stuff into Grand Market, then get a bunch of buys, buy out the processions, and then just get a single estate.
Uh-huh.
It seems like it would be pretty doable here. They need to still draw something here, though.
Oh.
They are out of draw unless they call carriages on these wisps.
Cool.
So they would kind of have to. Alright, so there's some more draw.
Okay, we draw the second one.
So isn't it just better to like call carriage on processing fortress rather than call carriage on wisp?
I mean, you didn't have the fortress until the second one. Yeah, the second one was
Yeah, but
kind of.
they did like they called a carriage after having drawn the fortress. If you just like call a bunch of royal carriages on like procession and process a bunch of carriages and fortresses, you can probably just buy up mints rather than processions.
I think they were trying to find an imp or another wisp.
Just from draw. But my argument isn't like calling carriage on process fortress. That's more draw than calling carriage on wisp, isn't it?
I mean, it's the same. If you're not finding the imp, it's the same amount of draw. So these are all the processions from Silly.
Oh, right, it is. Never mind. Okay. So how much can I do? If they process, carriage, fortress.
I mean, within this there's fortress. There's another 3 carriages within these 8 cards. Is there another imp? Sure. I think there's another imp also. Okay, yeah, there's the imp.
Yeah. So
there's also 2 golds down there.
Yeah, so no carriage on the mat currently, but I think you should be able to process enough carriages and fortresses to be able to like lower the piles enough where you can buy the last remaining Grand Markets or mints and just buy a single point.
They should be winning.
I think so. I haven't counted it all out yet, but
fortress.
I can just proc a bunch of mints into Grand Markets, proc fortresses into mints. Like call 3 more, yeah. Do they have it on board? So 4 coins plus 9 is 13 coins is enough for mints and Grand Market estate, and I do have 4 process plays. Yep, that should be good. Alright, so another convoluted process turn to finish the game. Just like last time.
Now on sillypotter side.
Yeah. Just going through it methodically to. Oh, they didn't call all characters on procession. Oh, they still were in the processing stuff phase. Alright, so they did. 13. So one final process play to get in the last grand market. And now you already have enough money and buys to
just
buy the stuff. And oh, alright. Just massively over again, I guess. Colony rather than a state to finish this off. Alright, so it's
just colony.
yeah, so again a first player win. No breaking first player advantage streak yet. So 2-1 to sillypotter, and going into the fourth game in which hsypsx will be starting player.
And these loopy things with throne variants are and just so so crazy to accomplish them in the right way with piles kind of high. I mean, except for the grand market that was left at 3.
Yeah, it was 3 and 6, right? At 6 mins. I think.
And 6 mins.
I wasn't doing much last game.
And and you see, there's no pilot, and then you see all these chains, and like, la 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 la. Okay, that's almost a win, but I'm not gonna design because if you don't, if you miss a step in all this chain, it just breaks and you leave the win for the other player.
Yeah, and they like during the procession turn, you can just like play the Benny Hill theme in the background. That'll be pretty close. Alright, so sillypotter are running into some technical troubles, it seems.
Yeah,
hopefully it's not too bad where their players getting impacted. Alright, sillypotter roller boots.
Okay, so they will leave the table and return in some minutes time, people, so
Alright.
Take off. Some technical difficulties on one of the opponent's side, but everything is okay. I mean, we're talking about it like this happens.
Yeah.
It was fast.
Alright, yeah. It is still a browser, not some kind of a full on 10 gigabyte game you have to start up or whatever. Just a browser. Oh, they are not back. They're back. hsypsx booting the bot.
The bot in order to skip players from joining. Yes. Random players.
Alright, game 4 is a go. Right, so what do we have? There is Golem as the only village. Oh no, there's Madman, of course, of Hermit. There's also a patron to like bank up some villagers. As for draw, we've got Bard and Livery, and also Madman, and plus buy, plenty of plus buy with Market and Barge. Gains with Ironworks, Hermit.
I mean, with capitalism, this could be a just insane gamble board because you just play all your treasures, start your buys, and then you buy Mandarin, and then you gamble everything again. They just boom. I mean, the idea would be patrons and livery with an ideal, and then buy Mandarin, and then gamble everything again, and blah 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 blah. You get the villagers, you get cover from patron. It's unfortunately there's not that in this kingdom.
No capitalism here. Only coinism.
But
yeah. So yeah, Hermit in most most games where Hermit is present, it will get bought. So Sillypotter had the 5 coin opening hand, which will enable them to trigger the shuffle a turn early, and they also top deck their Hermit, 1 out of 7. So quite fortunate on their part. ShuffleIT just opening single Hermit and then also gambling to trigger the shuffle, have a small shuffle with Hermit in it, and then just getting a second one. Alright, so yeah, the choosing to trash hovel over overgrown estate, because if you like trash overgrown estate, you trigger the shuffle there.
Yeah, and you get the Batman within the shuffle.
Yeah, so you could gain another Hermit here. And they do. Right, so no trash for Sillypotter here, unfortunately. So they still have, well, they trashed an overgrown estate, so both players have trashed 1 card. Necropolis seems like it could be worth keeping around here, given the low amount of villages on the board.
And Necro is totally worth it here. Oh, the overgrown.
And draw again, try to hit your other Hermits. Unfortunately misses. I think it's Hermit Copper down there for hsypsx.
Hermit, yeah.
So you could gamble for Hermit here. Like worst case scenario, like you're not doing anything with your coins anyway if you want to trash the Hermits into trash the Hermits into Madman. Although if you like,
if it's on top, what would you buy with for Patron maybe?
I mean, perhaps nothing. Like if you just gain 2 Hermits. Like can you can get a bunch of Hermits here. Like if you gamble twice, like your third gamble will for sure hit a Hermit. So you could like lower Hermits down to 1 here and gain 3 Madman using gamble.
Well, we're feeling lucky today.
But it's not. It's guaranteed, right?
The third Hermit, it's not guaranteed, but it's 50% to hit it.
No, you can just gamble gamble 3 times, and you will hit Copper, Hermit, and then another Hermit, because there will be 2 Hermits in the shuffle, in its discard pile.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So just gain another Hermit here, and then gamble twice more to gain gamble for the Copper, and then they choose not to. They choose to get it works. Okay.
Works.
Yeah, because then you gain a bunch of Hermits and get some Madman, but then you haven't really accomplished anything. Like you can't really do much with those Madman turns anyway. So, all right, Sillypotter playing Madman, but doesn't really get to much stuff. Probably gonna end up gambling for their Hermits as well, or their Ironworks, it seems. So you could gain a silver here if you want to gamble twice for 2 Hermits, but at that point you might as well just... Oh, right, they do.
They do. You empty the Hermits here?
I think so. And then just gain 2 Madman, have 2 Hermits still in the deck. So Hermit doesn't really do much after Hermits are gone. It's like you have to get either silver or ruins with it. I guess you can gain a state with the first one and then trash the estate with the second one you play in turn to limit the amount of bad cards you gain, but
pushing the pile? Well, they're lowering the piles. I mean, it's just turn 4 and Hermits are gone.
Yep. Sounds like a Hermit game. Well, it's just of course a bit quicker than usual Hermit works because of gamble, but Hermits do often pile. Alright, so to Batman,
So,
also getting the silver.
what do you gain here?
Mm,
Ironworks or patron?
probably patrons yet. So, is there an argument for like waiting till Hermit's run and then gaining Marauder to just like junk your opponent with ruins if they when they don't have trashing anymore?
I mean, you have the well. If all the hermits are within the trash, there could be some thought for the Marauder to just win your opponent's deck.
Yeah.
Maybe, maybe you just don't do it. You can do some stuff with gamble. I mean, you just gamble silvers, but I mean it's net. Okay.
Alright, so they do choose to take the line I described earlier by gaining something to trash with the second Hermit, so they don't have to gain 2 silvers. Just the 1 is plenty for them. I'm buying a market to keep the Hermits around. So pretty poor turn for hsypsx here. No Madman in the opening hand. And last card was Hermit, so like both Madman were in a discard. Yeah, they did have 4 Hermits in the deck and 0 Madman at the start of their previous shuffle, so. Because they, like on turn 4, they played 2 Hermits, again 2 additional Hermits, and then bought an Ironworks, so the Hermits didn't actually flip into Madman there. So slowing them down by a bit.
Because they trashed the Batman. What we're on to.
Right, so hsypsx has a bunch of Madman, but no Hermits anymore. So it might be the time for sillypotter to start to maraud them a bunch, but low amount of draw here because I don't think. Like I think sillypotter has 0 Madman remaining, and hsypsx has all 4 of them. So sillypotter audibling into barge for draw. Even trashing the other Hermit with the Hermit to not get another silver. Right, gambling for the deck.
Shuffle.
And getting a Madman. So all 10 Hermits are now in the trash. So phase 1 complete. On to phase 2 of the game. Probably like a bunch of barges, maybe some patrons.
No, I think it's time for gambling the patrons.
Yeah, that does like increase your villager count.
You get the coffers and the villagers for free.
Yeah, seems pretty good. A lot of money here.
You gamble twice, gamble again, then you buy barge, you gamble it, you delay it, buy another thing.
Yeah,
there's enough money.
Seems quite good.
We get to do the tricks.
Tricky trick. So yeah, last buy. Like sillypotter are not getting a market. Well, hsypsx doesn't have it yet, but like hsypsx now has 2 barges for plus buy, and like so they will have enough buys for next turn probably, and then that turn you can just do the barge gamble thing again to have even more buys on the turn after that. And hsypsx does have the advantage that they still have 2 more Madmen and two Ironworks as opposed to 1 for sillypotter.
On both sides.
Yeah, no way to get rid of these Ironworks anymore because the Hermits have gone.
It's alright for within that end.
After
I
patience
think you
run,
buy market of the third buy within the same turn.
okay. So how do you imagine this game ending? Like patrons are probably going to run with these ironworks due to like the favorable interaction with Campbell, and then afterwards you can just take maybe ironworks estates as the third pile as a sneaky win. Hsypsx all going for province already. It feels early, but how ironworks next turn? I can just gamble ironworks if you have enough money, but then you could, but then you probably don't also pile patron, so piling hours doesn't really accomplish that much, I don't think.
There's Necropolis.
It's gonna be tough to pile both ironworks and patron, I think. That's it's a free gamble for Vinzer in the coffer. Yeah, this is where the second ironworks for Hsypsx comes into play. Like they can do more patron stuff. But now they do have more pages in the deck, which do kind of clog up their hand. As shown here. Yeah, now that the madmen are gone, like the draw is kind of weak. I guess Hsypsx does have a barge coming in, so I probably spoke too soon about the bad turn. So
I mean, you can sillypotter.
Is a double barge delay, perhaps?
Barge delay, yeah. That's the 14 coins.
Yeah, so
but you don't have more draw as you were within the madman.
Yeah, probably kind of have to. Just like, what else are you doing? Yeah, and they do go for it. I could just leave this barge on top, I guess, and just. But there's nothing else to buy, so might as well gamble it and delay it, rather than playing it next turn. Like if they had more money, they might have like kept the other bars on top, because the action isn't really the limiting factor here. So they could have like bought something else, and then I guess if they had even more money, they could have just gambled the barge and bought something else, but like different.
Maybe see you get a third ironworks to threaten a pile out.
Maybe that does come at the cost of not getting a patron though, so that might be fine. So just 12 cards are 4 copper, another silver, I think. Is there a madman? Or so you can. Yeah, it's a bit awkward to gamble madman, right? Like you have to play your money before buying your first gamble, and then if you hit madman, you don't have cards in hand. So
it's 2 madmen, 2 patrons.
So choosing not to ironworks here, perhaps. So
it's fine.
Oh, ironworks still. Oh, they didn't play their necro. Oh, they tried to draw. Drew copper though. Yeah, so just play all their money. Probably gonna gamble at least a bit here.
Maybe just 1 and buy province.
Yeah, I kind of want to get, like, you already have points lead and like a power pressure lead, so I would rather just get some barges in play. You can't get 2 barges in play though, so like single barge in play costs. Actually you can't get barges in play because you didn't draw deck this turn, right? Unfortunately, we got the madman, and then province still. All right, yeah. Like I kind of missed that you have to actually draw deck for you to be able to do the trick. Right, so now they drew the madman though. So.
What a hard draw for silly.
So double province. Do you not just double province here? Just not.
Yeah, right. You're down on points.
Yeah, like if you gamble for something that seems a bit risky,
And if you gamble, you could buy Dodgy province, and it's double province. It's reasonable. You're down on points.
So there's boards. Probably just play it here, and I think you might turkey the shuffle.
I think you have to go for it here.
Yeah. So can you pile? You're gonna have 1 point lead, so you could. Can you also pile ironworks and then just buy patrons? I think you should be able to, right?
Yeah, I think it works.
Well, actually, you also need a lot of money to gamble ironworks. Wait, no, you're probably short money to do all the things.
6, 12, 18. You have 18 money. I think you have enough money because
20 with the patron.
right here, you irons for ironworks. You draw with barge. You have this 2 ironworks, irons for ironworks, and that's 5 left. Then you just gamble through it. Is it enough money, as you were saying? Okay, we're going for it.
Alright, so 13, 19, 21 coins. So you need gain 2 ironworks.
Ironworks, that's 4. Gamble. For ironworks.
So 8 coins to deplete. Play 2 ironworks. That's ironworks at 4. You gamble 4 times to get 4 more ironworks. And then you play you gamble your last 2 ironworks to gain 2 patrons. So that's 6 gambles, 12, and then you need 8 more. So you're 1 coin. Yeah, you have 1 coin to spare, I think. Yeah, use 1 coffer and then like gamble 6 times, and then buy 2 patrons. And because you gained the estate last turn, that's the winning line. All right. Very nice. Very nice. Yep. Fulivora also found it in chat. Buy 2 patrons, gamble for the rest. In the different order. I think you have to gamble ironworks first. I guess gamble patron is kind of free. Not sure whether that's actually easier or both lines win, so alright, still first player advantage all around.
Go to each.
Yeah, so 2-2 here.
So some boards we've had so far is Procession, now with Gamble, Hermits.
So not the easiest of boards, not the most straightforward boards, but pretty interesting match so far.
Yeah.
On to game 5.
Still anyone's match.
So just 10 cards, no card tip objects or reserve piles, or just straightforward 10 piles. Well, there's a split pile, but yeah. So let's see. There is the only way to get actions is Sona Evento chains.
Evento chains or Royal Carriages.
Royal Carriages, of course, right. So there's a bunch of thinning with Ambassador, Steward, Moneylander. So you probably don't need to get Forge at any point. Like draw with Evento or Rebel. So you probably want to, Ambassador seems very relevant this kingdom.
I mean, how good would Steward stand against Ambassador? Something more like something more simple like Poacher Steward, or I mean to avoid the terminal collision.
I mean, Steward, if one player gains Ambassador and another gains a single Steward, then the Ambassador player does get thin quicker because the Steward player gets junked a bunch.
Okay.
So limiting factor on this board actually is there is no plus buy. So the only way to get multiple provinces is Forge. Which seems kind of tough to pull off. Like forging and some stuff and then also buying province.
See a
So,
double ambassador.
double ambassador for sillypotter, and they do not collide, which is lucky. And then ambassador poacher for hsypsx.
Okay, with a 5.
So
I think you
pretty
take the royal.
quick play here. With 5. Alright, so players playing faster than I can keep up.
They're just ping pong.
Yeah, so a
with
bunch of
this
ambassador
ambassador.
plays, both have a single poacher now. There's one courage.
The real courage.
So let's see how thick their decks are. Alright, so sillypotter with
8
8 cards. And hsypsx with also 8. So both players thinning quite aggressively.
But sillypotter has the edge with the royal courages.
Yes, so that's,
With one royal courage. No.
that does seem like an advantage. So you can either keep carriage on the mat or call it to just junk your opponent with another copper. They choose to keep it on mat, maybe for poacher. So they can poach here and double master still.
Minutes.
So yeah, sillypotter does seem ahead in the thinning race because hsypsx has 3 points for their 3 states.
In the ambassador war.
Yeah. Yeah, not hitting an ambassador here. Almost feels like game over, although I don't want to call it too quick.
You can just, well, you could have junked with double ambassador here instead of just returning one.
Yeah, I'm choosing hsypsx choosing to thin 2 coppers rather than a single state, which I can get behind. So yeah, but how do you build now? Maybe bandits, probably, maybe even? No, like gain gold.
Sauna, maybe? No, we're going for a bandit, I guess.
Not sure. Like,
Or one courage.
you could like play bandit like 2 or 3 times and then just ambassador it at that point. Someone will give you like if you keep control. Yeah, but you're also gonna have 1 ambassador still, I think. Probably gonna carriage the poacher a bunch. And then... Alright, so now sillypotter has reached the point where they just like call carriage to junk their opponent by a single card. Alright, and hsypsx keeping the royal carriage on the mat rather than junking a single state.
You just junk with double state, even triple state.
It's choosing to
Coppers.
get even thinner.
Yeah, this.
Oh, so they. Alright, so they reveal, but in that case, wouldn't it have been better to just give 2 estates rather than give an estate and a copper?
Yeah, that was my initial thought. Okay. Oh.
So 6 now. Yeah, fully thin out of storing cards.
What do you think would be like time for a bandit to mess with hsypsx shuffles?
I think that's pretty minor. Like, I think it's mostly just a gold gainer that you can then ambassador.
Okay.
But they go for another royal carriage, so like maybe just trying to junk their opponents a whole bunch, and then just like not even think about winning in the short term, but just like completely hosing your opponent's deck and then just win at your leisure later in the game.
Yeah. Maybe there's
Well,
more
it's
a case for Rabble, sillypotter.
Maybe. Like they do have to like call these carriages for poacher draw, so like getting one rebel means you still have to call one carriage on poacher for the village effect, but then you can like draw with rebel, and then you can get an additional carriage call in on your ambassador. So hsypsx did end up gaining the first rebel on the board during their last turn. The attack's probably not going to matter against sillypotter at all, but mostly for the draw here then. Although hsypsx doesn't have, like, only has a single poacher and 2 carriages to be able to get the finish effect. Alright, so here's a pretty good turn for hsypsx because it can like call carriage on the poacher next turn and then play rebel. Probably draw their other carriage and then be able to double ambassador again to get a bit thinner. It's a losing battle, it's ambassador war.
Yeah. You have to call the real carriage.
Ooh, they choose not to, just want to just double ambassador,
Well, I mean,
not rebel. I guess maybe they knew.
I mean, there's no really a point. Opponents doesn't have any cards that they would have been drawing. But yeah, this is almost over.
So sillypotter are going for the salas, and then going probably into Intermezzo at some point after salas run, and then have a bunch of draw, and then after junking their opponent a bunch more, then at some point in the future. Oh, they don't have any, even have any junk to get rid of with ambassador. Right, so if hsypsx just doesn't return anything, they can't get junked. That's a 5-hat play.
Yeah. I mean, why?
They only have 3 coppers and 3 estates, so I can choose to return 2 ambassadors, but that. Alright, they have had enough. Yeah, can't say I blame them.
It was. Oh.
It's just,
So he has the edge to take the match.
alright, match point for sillypotter. A tie is also good enough for them. So hsypsx has to rally on their game where they're first player, and then hope for like a tiebreaker game. So a very close match. Players seem pretty evenly matched. Now Domin's lying. I think the players played one game before starting the match.
Maybe a friendly ladder game.
Perhaps. But yeah, they. It's currently 3-2 in sillypotter's favor since they started the match at 17 UTC. So sillypotter getting another quick break in, which allows me to take a swig of water again.
Can I say, like, stretch? Like we were saying on their interview that they like to take a stroll 15 minutes before their match to clear their minds, and then start the match.
Alright.
So the importance of this next game being match point, I think it took a little walk within their own home.
Yeah.
And it's also helpful for hsypsx. Like, clear your mind a bit, shake this game, this Ambassador War game. Focus on the next.
That's a good thing to do if it helps you, or maybe just get some tea on, or some coffee, or just a bottle of water, perhaps. Refresh your drink. Stay clear-headed throughout the entire match. Possibly even a little snack.
So sillypotter has these hard candies of certain flavor that, in the name of the candy, it can be inferred the number 8. That within Japan culture, it's their lucky number.
All right.
Maybe a little wall with this candy, like tasting like that. Let's get the things going.
All right. Unfortunately, this game, it will not be possible for this match to reach a game 8 to get a lucky game for Silly Potter. A maximum of 7 games. But all right, so match point for Silly Potter. hsypsx as the first player this game. So another procession board, a third one of this match. With the mouse is scheme, so you can scheme a lot of stuff here. All right, so let's see what we have. Trashing is bonfire, procession kind of, sacred grove with flames gift kind of, mostly. So it's gonna be difficult to get rid of estates, it seems, because bonfire and spice merchant both don't trash those. Pretty easy to get rid of coppers. And then for draw, there's courtyard or diplomat, and spice merchant as well. The score is 3-2 in Silly Potter's favor.
Yeah.
So a bunch of plus buy with Merchant Guild, the Sacred Grove. So there's not a lot of plus action. I'm not sure how easy diplomat is to trigger. Like you can only trigger diplomat with procession, it seems.
Also with Swam Hack, the other players place it like now, like right now.
So they both opened Silver Spice Merchant. hsypsx getting in trashing with Bonfire, getting Swamp Hack to like, yeah, it is like similarly to the estates. It's also going to be pretty tough to get rid of curses if you get them. Silly Potter opting for the second Spice Merchant and a pretty quick procession. hsypsx follows in the procession plan. So Silly Potter has trashed 3 coppers already.
2 curse. Oh. Well, the upside of the mouse is that your processions like here with Silly Potter, you can play them as schemes and subdeck them again. That's
very true. So not really much of a downside. So they did opt for the curse, which will get in the way a bit. They decide that the procession is worth it. The second procession, that is. Bit of an awkward hand for hsypsx, actually, because the Spice Merchant doesn't have anything to trash to be able to get a village effect with the procession. So maybe just, like hsypsx probably just scheming a bunch and then playing a Swamp Hack and just doing nothing else. Bit of weak turn.
You can proc the Spice Merchant, it as full mouse.
Oh, double mouse, right? And then, oh, that's true. But it's only your only Spice Merchant, and you haven't trashed the majority of your coppers yet. I don't. Oh, perhaps you have. Let's see.
In the trash. Okay.
So they trashed 2 coppers with Spice Merchant and 2 additional copper with Bonfire. So it seems to be 3 coppers for hsypsx and 1 for Silly Potter, if I'm not mistaken.
It seems 3 coppers for hsypsx.
Yeah, I think so. Right, so procession diplomats triggering the plus action clause. Now probably just scheme the procession. They did not even scheme the procession. Okay. Right, so now we're just at the double Swamp Hack part of the game. Probably not buying anything.
Yeah.
You can bonfire the copper.
I mean, it could be you just trust the Spice Merchant. You get rid of all your coppers.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a sluggish.
Yeah. Well, I had a league match last week where it was also Swamp Hag and some other stuff, not really relevant stuff, and like we took 39 turns. It was a proper slog. We about like it was cardinal to exile each other's Swamp Hag. Like as soon as a Swamp Hag ran, then like it became like every couple of turns it became harder to play your Swamp Hags because one of them will have gotten exiled by cardinal. And like typical Swamp Hag game. So let's see what's happening here. So sillypotter did not get to play Swamp Hag on their last turn, so free reign for hsypsx, and they do have 6 coins.
Their 2 bottom cards are Swamp Hags, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they have 4, yeah. So you could process this petition to get 2 more Swamp Hags, or 2 more Swamp Hags in play, that is.
You can...
And then buy... What do you even buy then? Diplomats? I don't know.
Could buy scepters maybe.
So Scepter can just play a Swamp Hag that was there from the start of the turn, right? Does it work?
When you just play, it stays out. It's like the Swamp Hag right now, Scepter.
Alright. So yeah, this curse is getting in the way of Sillypotter's hands by a decent bit. Like having 4 junk cards instead of 3. Alright, so hsypsx had to scheme one of the Swamp Hags, so only 1 Swamp Hag in play now. I guess this is Scepter for another, so still 2. And buying nothing. Don't even want to take a single curse on this board.
Maybe it was worth to buy another Scepter.
But then you also get a curse with it, and like every single curse is pretty tough on this board.
Maybe this is just a look on who buy something first.
Yeah, perhaps.
Just a starvation to death.
Yeah, hsypsx is forced to try to do something. Like, I'm not sure what the stalemate rules are in the tournament. They, like stalemate isn't a draw, right? If it's a proper stalemate, then the game just gets replayed, right? Although I'm not sure whether it counts as stalemate. So.
hsypsx will be playing every other turn. Well, their turns will be 1 Swamp Hag, and the next turn 2 Swamp Hags, and then in that cycle, Sillypotter is also a disadvantage with this card, but in 1 as mouse, you always have 1, so it's like a stalemate. Almost due to this 1 curse Sillypotter has.
Yeah, perhaps. I'm not sure whether you can actually, like, Sillypotter only has 3 Swamp Hags. I'm not sure whether it's possible for them to dud.
Basically has just 3. hsypsx has 4.
Alright, so hsypsx does go for Diplomat. So you can process Diplomat into... I'm not sure. Like the only way to trash curses is like Sacred Grove Flamesgift, but then your opponent also gets to trash something, so they're both gaining curses. Interesting enough. So 2 more Swamp Hags for hsypsx in play. Probably not buying anything for these 3 coins, I can't imagine. Unless you want to get rid of this possession, but don't think you do.
Units.
Yeah, just doing nothing. Ooh, Diplomat has the reaction card. I kind of forgot that Diplomat had a reaction part. So you can just like play, you can trigger Diplomat without having to trash it with possession. So that's nice. You can get even more Swamp Hags in play.
I mean, right now, hsypsx plan would be just in one of these swamp hacks as give the mouse and getting double swamp hacks out every other turn, every turn now, and it's
Yeah.
just a stalemate until teleporter either resigns or gets something else to buy. But
Yeah, so
it's just
sillypotter,
awkward.
interestingly enough, sillypotter not choosing not to react with their diplomat that last turn. Sillypotter did end up getting a second possession even.
So Sillypotter is trying to aim for a build right now because they just gain a Sacred Grove of
Yeah.
these diplomats.
I guess Sacred Grove can let you gain cards without buying them with like Earth's Gift.
And
I guess that's pretty much
Skies.
it. Like there's Sky's Gift for gold, but you don't really want gold, so. But then like your opponent also gets the Earth's Gift unless they don't have. I guess hsypsx just has the single scepter as the only treasure in their deck.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe just like playing Sacred Grove until you hit like if you have treasure, if you have silver in hand, and just like Earth's Gift, and it will sillypotter to like slowly but surely build, while hsypsx would not be able to. So not quite a stalemate. So we do find the swamp hag. This diplomat reaction thing seems pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
it
being
lets
able
you.
lets you double swamp hag every turn, as long as you start with your diplomat in your opening hand, which is not trivial for sure.
Yeah, with mouse it's not trivial because you have skin. You top deck the diplomat, so.
Well, you can't trigger diplomat for plus cards and actions and mouse it as well. But
This is just starvation to death.
oh, you can scheme. Oh, I forgot that scheme doesn't force you to top deck the card itself, but you can choose what to top deck. Never mind. Right, so you're totally right that you can actually just diplomat every turn. Unless your opponent doesn't swamp hack you, but then you're not swamp hacked, and then you can just like buy some stuff. So triple swamp hack now. But now might be the chance for sillypotter to hit Earth's Gift.
To mouse this procession to turn into a merchant guild, maybe you have Torque cover, but
Also,
no,
actually,
I mean with hsypsx 8-card deck, you can just buy anything. Oh,
yeah, so processing process, and then choosing like just trashing the procession and not trashing any other action cards. Alright, Sky's Gift. Would you like it? I think gold isn't that much better than a curse, so probably not taking it.
yeah. I mean, it could have been hilarious to get here the flames gift, and you trash the curse, and hey, you just discard it.
Yeah, for sure.
And then it's just but it would have been a tied score, and okay, and for the stalemate to buying nothing. Like, how many turns are we getting here? Like 40, 50 turns?
Maybe.
We're already on turn 20.
Yeah. Like we're slowly but surely, like sillypotter is changing the contents of their deck slowly but surely. Like they added another swamp hag, have a Sacred Grove. Well, hsypsx isn't really doing any of that. They're just like content playing 2 or 3 swamp hags every turn and not doing much else. Yeah, the Sacred Grove on might like every 12 Sacred Grove plays you get a Earth's Gift.
Yeah, but right now I think Teleporter has treasures also. Just silver, I think.
Yeah, not. Yeah, sillypotter has a single silver. Still, it might be enough. Like, you just don't play Sacred Grove on the turns where hsypsx doesn't have their scepter in play. They can guarantee that they won't be able to discard for Earth Gift themselves as well.
A couple of turns of hacking.
Buy bonfire, trash nothing. I like it. I like it.
Blowing. Maybe there was some hidden part we're not seeing.
I guess just
Just found it.
push up with APM.
Kind of secret card down there. In the code.
So I'm pretty sure sillypotter is not able to dud. Like neither is hsypsx, so it's yeah.
In the
At risk of
turns are almost the
that's
same.
another actually. Oh, so they're actually they're mousing their Sacred Grove to oh, they're not top decking it. All right, I thought they might top deck it because like this turn hsypsx didn't have their scepter in play, so they didn't want to play Grove for Earth Gift to like fish for Earth Gift, but no, like they didn't even top deck the Sacred Grove, so I'm not sure.
I mean,
It is currently 3-2 for sillypotter. So sillypotter is on match points, but hsypsx, if hsypsx wins this game, then a tiebreaker game will be played, or like a game 7 will be played.
hsypsx is just thinking like, man, what are we doing here? Like I say,
Yeah, the answer is not particularly much. Buying bonfire every turn, yeah. Double swamp hacking every turn. Oh, so they actually sceptered possession for second scheme. Oh well. Still using a curse. Alright, so
0.7 should a game in the stalemate the result is void and the game will be replayed with New Kingdom and the game starting player. It's not counted as a time, still needs a game, okay. Okay, so they would have to
yeah, but if like
agree that it's a stalemate and
yeah.
roll a board.
Yeah, but like sillypotter might not agree with stalemate because of the like every 12 times I play Sacred Grove I get Earth Gift. So much to bounce from again. Like, yeah, well, maybe they're quite enjoying this this kind of game.
Yeah, they're just like, let's see who.
Let's see what actually is on their ban list. So they have banned Governor, Smugglers, Cultist, Swindler, Possession, Encampment, Catapult, Ghost Ship, and Black Cats as
The
actions.
best donate and inheritance.
Yeah. So
Minutes. And they dislike the as actions Magpie, Witch, Seahawk, Militia, Peasant, Goons, Mountebank, Cardinal, Sona, and Cavalry.
so not a fan of attack cards. These two players,
Yeah.
but apparently no problems. No problems with Swamp Hag. I could see one or both these players like switching around their ban list a bit and putting Swamp Hag on there, perhaps.
I mean, it seems hard because all these cards they have banned, like, you have like their reasons. I mean, you could change. I don't know who has smugglers banned, but change smugglers for Swamp Hack, and there we go.
All right, so sillypotter also posting the same rule.
Goes the rule, like, man, this is just like, okay, we have 28 turns and doing like turns doing the same things every other turn.
Yeah. So I think if sillypotter agrees it's stalemate, then it will be a stalemate, because I don't think hsypsx... Like, hsypsx might be calculating now if it's like whether it's 0% for sillypotter to not hit swamp hag. I think it is. Or perhaps whether hsypsx wants to like whether it's like whether it could be good for hsypsx to like buy something to get a curse, or whether that's not in their interest.
Yeah, but here Cables have been thinking it's hsypsx say like, okay, let's reroll, this is just the same. He says moderators will roll if it's a stalemate, or
Yeah, so
it is.
well, I think no snake face. I don't agree because like, all right, sillypotter agrees, but choosing not to build with the Sacred Grove Earth Gift. All right,
I mean,
we have a stalemate.
yay! Still with the quarterfinals. I think it's been the only one so far within the tournament.
Yeah, I haven't heard of one. So all right, so Dombot will the Dombot score will be inaccurate, but
so it's and one stalemate. So let's see. It's more dynamic.
all right. So, new game 6, new improved game 6.2, 2.0.
Oh.
All right. So what we have here, another canal game, Wave the Rat. All right, so villages, there's Workers Village, Snowyville. Draw is Swashbuckler, Embassy, Cavalry. There is...
There's
no...
Cavalry way up the rat. These pile things.
There is no trashing, am I seeing that right?
Yeah, no trashing. But we've got archive for delayed draw.
Yeah, so there's a bit of...
half-time thinning.
Right, so hsypsx buying Guardian to enable a 5-cost buy on turn 2 with 3/4. Sillypotter has a 4/3, so does not have that option. Like Guardian isn't like dead in the late game because you can like block covens, which might be good. Yeah, the mass command.
Yeah, we were talking about that game halls. It was you want Mort.
Yep, sure was.
So they open silver for sillypotter and Guardian archive for hsypsx.
Yeah, to like buying archives seems pretty good, and like seems worth putting a Guardian in your deck for. They're buying Cavalry here, alright. Sillypotter actually opening double silver. Like it like sure looks... Does it look money-ish actually? Right, so Cavalry and Guardian. So Sillypotter probably calculated that they would hit 4 in the next turn, so bought the Guardian to be able to hit 5 as well. To buy the archive.
They had 2 coppers and then drew another one. That's second archive here.
Yeah, and I have a Guardian for next turn. Yeah, so unfortunately, like they had 3 coppers and then stayed in a shuffle and then drew another estate, I think. Maybe not actually. Yeah, they had so. They have an archive with a copper, so they can actually buy a 5-cost here again. All right, but they choose to buy a Devil's Workshop instead. Okay. Devil's Workshop. With Cavalry, you can gain imps, which is draw. So that's pretty good. Right, take archive. Yep. So probably to take a state here and to keep the coppers for your next 2 turns maybe. Although that does mean a state is going into the shuffle.
I think taking copper instead of archive was better there. I mean,
Copper instead of archive. Oh, it's just to spread. Yeah, just to spread out the archive. You mean, or?
Spread them. With proc porters, proc port, and that's still Any forecast? In fact, there has been 3 proc ports so far, so it's almost half a cage match with proc, and one of those 3 was Fortress proc.
Yeah, cave. That's the other side of the argument, right? You can either take the estate to leave the copper, so you can like guaranteed draw copper both next turns, or you can like put copper in your deck.
We take Snowy.
Right, so first imp has been taken.
Snowy seems reasonable. I mean, the only terminals here are Cavalry, Swashbuckler, and Embassy, so I don't need to play that many terminals.
Do you go for Swashbuckler, like go for Treasure Chest at some point? Or is it just too slow?
Maybe not. I think it would be more like a huge cavalry gain, and you score within vineyards. I think you buy here a cavalry.
Yeah, because like you still have cavalry in there, so you can like buy cavalry, play cavalry, like Devil's Workshop for imps. Otherwise, you have 9, so you could just buy some other stuff and still Devil's Workshop. Although I guess you can imp and double cavalry here. You can even like you could give up a horse to top like 2 horses, but that doesn't seem quite worth it.
No, I think it was better play first cavalry, and then you draw with him to top deck a horse.
Right. Another option. You expect a canal.
Here.
Well, maybe.
Here, a workers' village. A canal. Yeah. I mean, maybe with Way of the Rat, you don't need canal. In 6.
Technically, game 7, unless you.
Technical game 7, but had one stalemate.
Yeah. Just strike it from record.
Just got an embassy. Well, embassy helps you set up the archive stuff. Seems reasonable.
What do you mean by setting? You can discard 3 cards, like draw deck, discard 3, and then archive those 3. You mean? Yeah.
Yep.
But are they at the point where they draw deck yet?
hsypsx then turn before they did root deck. I mean, with the help of the archives, but still, it's possible to do it, to accomplish.
Yeah, so both players.
Swamp hack.
Yeah.
Both players were playing every turn swamp hack and not buying anything, and there was no other way to gain cards.
Yeah, there was also no curse trashing or no asset trashing on that board, except for Sacred Flames Gift, but yeah, not really relevant. Anyway, as for the game at hand, both players just adding a bunch of draw to the deck, like draw through the starting cards.
Horses. Now here we get.
Could just canal here, but then your Devil's Workshop gains a gold. I guess never mind. You already played cavalry, so it's already it will gain imps. Yep. Never mind. Don't mind me.
Don't worry. It's like no optional canal here.
No, that's decent with this amount of buys on the board. There's one a lot of actions, and then yeah, probably vineyards as mentioned.
And I think you could pile on archives, worker villages, and cavalry. But maybe cavalry you buy it like 3 turns before finishing the game. And then you just do a massive Way of the Rat with cavalry. Get plus buys. Okay. Yeah, Coven.
Alright, first Coven of the game. So, there's only been Way of the Rat played twice this game. So, yeah, perhaps. Oh, that's the third time. Alright, draw on with their imp. Perhaps, yeah. Probably not. No actions remaining. So.
Coven uses sillypotter to buy Guardian. Try to find it every turn.
But like, does it matter to like exiling curses? Like, you don't really want to gain 10 curses, of course, but like you do have a bunch of time before like your opponent has played Coven 10 times.
Yeah, I mean.
So perhaps you can just like win on a points lead before like your opponent has cursed you.
Maybe the other side is just to play it as a silver. And to make it count for the vineyard later.
Yeah, that works.
I think that's the only upside for.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward with Snowy Village, but you can probably you should be able to play it before doing that. So there's an opportunity to MC archive here.
Have a unique.
Good, like MC,
like
then archive
embassy.
a bunch of junk.
I mean, you can set off with imp, state, and dual state. Like a state here.
Got the imp next turn. Seems pretty good. Yeah, unfortunately, due to Snowy Village, not able to play both his cavalries, but seems fine still. So probably following on Canal, yep. And buying a single works village.
Adding. The embassy here is more of a attack here rather than their Coven with the silvers.
Yeah, maybe. So how do you see this game developing? What's the plan for the players and how to get ahead or win?
And the plan to score is vineyards, obviously, but I think you first take a couple. Each player take a couple more workers' villages, and then aim for cavalries and archives.
All right.
But I don't know where to feed the potion. At what point?
Yeah.
So we're going on cavalries.
Yeah, both players stopping at 3 archives, and then hsypsx adding an embassy. Like both players having a bunch of cavalry for draw, but not interested in the 4th archive for either player.
So hsypsx now finding their workers' village on the bottom 5. It's not as awkward because you can play right now with cavalries.
So they could have actually top decked 2 more horses, right? Because they probably don't need to play any more action cards here.
Just cavalry. In extra pie. I think you right here the workers' village.
Yeah, makes sense. So what did they top deck? They top decked
horses,
this,
cavalry.
Imp horse, estate copper. Can't help but wonder whether there wasn't a better way here to like have other stuff top decked. Not sure. Maybe different play order, different discards, perhaps.
You take the last cavalry here to the knight for sillypotter. In cavalry workers village and potion. I mean to score.
Right, so
We have 1 potion.
the cover is another terminal, which I so choose not to.
Take that in reserve to the state.
So they decide that building their own deck is better.
hsypsx. It's in the lead. Well, it's ahead.
Yeah. Like they are consistently drawing deck and now have a potion. And sillypotter like doesn't have an embassy, so is slightly less likely to draw deck as seen here. So second guardian for them. This Coven not really doing much at this point anymore. Right, there's the archive. Getting the info draw.
Coven.
Yep. So 3 good cards here. Unfortunately, probably take Workshop, or choose to take Work Village, slightly draw on this turn, and like don't perhaps deciding that they have enough imps and don't need the Devil's Workshop every turn.
What's the tough one? There's a win. No, there's no win yet.
No, not enough buys. Or I guess not enough money for the buys.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty
Potter.
very poor hand for sillypotter. That is true.
And they have a workers village set aside. I mean,
yeah,
they could get to find a court maybe. They're turning green, but yeah, it seems difficult with this hand. Yeah, with table, there's a chance. Need to panic. Okay, so now good archive.
I think just lower the piles. Yeah, we're pretty comfortably ahead. So just try to like set up a win for next turn.
You could also take a second embassy or a swashbuckler for a unique with the imp.
But if you take double archive, you just threaten pilot next turn, right? Do you? Well, I guess you don't have enough money for that. I have to take double archive here. Yeah, probably don't have enough money.
An archive that
you do have
would be played as a red.
Oh right, that's very true. Right, completely forgot about red. And you also have a silver in archive land, so could do that as well.
Silver.
Yeah, I can only take one of those. So. We'll have 11 coins next turn. Well, no, actually 10 coins because I don't have a guardian now, and I did have one this turn.
Okay.
10 coins. If you take double archive, you can work for this archive next turn, and like red an archive to get the last one. And like archive also makes you more reliable. Well, maybe not actually. Not quite sure about that.
I mean, you don't know what's the hand of sillypotters, but I mean it's. I mean,
yeah,
I think it's being cautious with that one.
Yeah, they should think about what sillypotter is capable of, but I don't think sillypotter is able to like both get a points lead and pile 4 cards. I'm not sure how much points like sillypotter's vineyards will be worth. It's a bit of difficult math, especially given like cavalries and horses and stuff. Like they don't stay the same, they don't strictly increase, but they like you might like play a horse and decrease the amount of points it's worth.
I mean, they could be up to what's the cavalry split? 3-3, I think. 6-4. Let's see. Workers village.
Right, so they rather have some more actions as buys than rather than going for the more expensive card.
In can rat the Snowy Village and 20 on Workers Village and Snowy. You can buy here as another Snowy Village. In that first two you see you're gonna rat for them.
Right. So they opted to for Guardian. So just to get an additional coin for the turn after. Which makes sense. Like if you think like if you think that your next turn is going to be the last turn, then might as well get another coin there. All right. So sillypotter did not get there off of the single works for this draw, unfortunately for them. So it's looking like we might get a game 7 here, assuming hsypsx like will be able to draw enough. Which, ooh, this is like having to play the Snowy Village this soon makes it's quite difficult.
I think you take the vineyard here.
I mean, adding some horses to your discard pile with cavalry seems like it could be good as well.
I think as hsypsx you should have stopped there. I think they're trying to find the potion, but maybe not worth it.
And Coffin gives
Spending
points,
these
I guess.
games and
Doesn't look like the worst. I like just like getting 4 horses here. Seems pretty good.
that's another point, if I'm not mistaken. You just recover it.
Yeah.
But what?
And then probably just another potion. Oh, wow. Alright. I've got some big plans.
Archive?
You then take another archive? Or do you, like, maybe archive could possibly lose to, like, Vineyard with the red stuff and Duchy or whatever? So maybe you do lower here. That's pretty difficult for sillypotter to do. Like, sillypotter is way less, I think sillypotter is still less reliable than hsypsx. I guess they did gain an embassy, did they? They bought 2 questions.
hsypsx got an embassy last turn.
Oh, second embassy. So sillypotter doesn't have any. So yeah, I'm inclined to agree with Cave here. That sillypotter has a fewer draw than a need for this kingdom.
Mm-hmm. Did you just get another embassy? I mean, if you're thinking of not drawing, but you have within these 14 cards,
Yeah.
embassy, but there's the third one.
Right, so actually, this imp needs to draw either a horse or works village, or hsypsx won't be able to do anything with this turn. Like 5 action cards, but no plus action as of yet.
No potion here for sillypotter.
Oh, so another dud. Which you could say should be expected given their deck composition. Just added 6 horses, but like they're at the top of their fresh shuffle, so those horses are a long way away. Alright, so oh, there we go. Ooh, got there. I might even have played embassy first there. I guess it doesn't really matter if you got a spare action anyway, so never mind that. So now just probably imping horses.
Playing cavalry before the embassy to get 2 horses within the shuffle, but I think it doesn't matter that much.
That doesn't mean you have 1 fewer action to like play or draw cards with.
But they had a workers village in hand.
Right.
We're getting
so,
there.
Yeah, they seem to be getting a full turn. Alright, so there's 1 stalemate, and they played a single game today before starting the match. So it's actually 3-2 currently. So yeah, I think this should be good enough here. Not actually sure though. We have 3, 7, 13 coins. So just shy of having enough money. Oh, they just go for Guardians, yes. That's a third pile, yes. All right, so not for the Archives, but for the Guardians. Good enough, so...
Turn to game 7!
Yeah,
well,
and every single first player, like every single game, first player has won. So,
yeah.
All right, game 7 alert.
Hey. So now, time for hsypsx to hit break. Also, sillypotter like saying, man, I need some tea, some refreshing stuff after this. Full of boards.
Yeah. All right, all right. Exciting stuff. Quarterfinals with a final game. So I think it's like if it's a tied, second player wins, right?
It's tied, second player. And seeing these deck compositions, the embassies did were more of an attack than the Coven, because we're seeing sillypotters having 5 silvers from the start, and
Yeah, and
the
they
others
like
out of embassy.
Yeah, so hsypsx opened Guardian Archive, and sillypotter opened double silver. And like the silver did end up the silver did end up amassing in their deck.
He was a bit skip.
Storm skip does often lead to stalemates, yes.
When they run out the pilot, they say, "Man, that's not a pilot. It's stalemate then."
It's like, but if you have wisps, they can draw you more wisps. That's great. And then you just like you get a chapel, like you trash all of your non-wisp cards, then you get a rat catcher, trash your chapel, have all wisps. Perfection.
So far, we've seen 2 canal games and 3 pro games.
Yeah, 3 procession. They were all pretty different procession games though. One was with Fortress and with Royal Carriage to gain Grand Markets. Like one was a Swampert game, so not really procession, not seeing the show there. But the first, I think it was a first procession game with a bunch of farmer villages for plus buy. And just like hsypsx getting a huge final turn, just buying 6 provinces in a single turn with an easy 42 money.
Also noteworthy, the chat, that this could be the lucky number 8 game for sillypotter.
Ooh, that's very true. hsypsx does get the start.
The Japanese culture, like, okay, number 8 is our number, it's the lucky number. So, see what happens.
Yeah, sillypotter will need to break the first player win streak. Pretty much, young trad. Let's see what this kingdom offers us. So, Masquerade for draw and trashing. There's a bunch of villages with like a bunch of forecast villages with workers village, port, modern minstrel. So, no shortage in actions. There's draw with wharf. That's a pretty good draw. There's also draw with werewolf, haunted woods, masquerade. There's like thinning. There's plus buy with wharf. So, all the hallmarks of a engine board are here. And then there's also alliance, so you can like, but like alliance seems just worse than colonies here. There's not a lot of economy in the action cards. Well, there's fortune and there's gladiator. You probably do need to get some treasure cards at some point, maybe like 1 or 2 platina.
You can get some out of quest, like in one werewolf and buying quest for gold.
Yeah, that works.
Not the ideal thing, but
yeah, if you have spare buys off of wharfs, then you might as well. But then you don't attack them, I guess.
I mean, And I think it's not that important. I think Haunted Woods is better an attack than Werewolf here.
Yeah, but like there is thrashing, so like you probably don't have any you don't have any victory cards left for the Haunted Woods to top deck like up until the colonies get bought. So looks like you bought when you opened double mask, so they opted for Masquerade silver for both of them. Yeah, silver.
You fought more than 5.
Silver does allow you to get some wars after you port it, but yeah, it could be right. And there's a pretty sad hand for hsypsx.
Now Sillypotter's age.
Probably just play Wharf
Second
then.
Wharf here.
Yeah. Should have gotten a guide, I guess. Probably not though.
Could be also a Wandering Minstrel guide. We're doing
Perhaps.
some stuff, but I think Second Wharf is better.
Yeah, you already have enough. Well, do you have enough actions? I guess not. Like if you play Wharf, you have enough actions to play all your terminals. So the last card is probably Copper, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they play a Wharf, perhaps another port here, or another pair of ports. Like, or do you prefer Minstrel over ports? Just for the effect. Like if you buy Minstrel, then you would need to buy another village at some point anyway. If you have port, you can spend one less buy on it. So they're just going for the gold. Not sure if I like quest. Like, not sure if I like gold already here. I think I'd rather build some more actions to draw deck, get deck control, and then get my payload on. But
I mean, the one who could buy gold right now, well, of quest would be Sillypotter. You don't trash this state and pass it with Masquerade right now.
yeah, so hsypsx could have chosen to like pass Copper the first time and then pass a state. But then maybe Sillypotter doesn't play the second Masquerade, but then like it's kind of equal here. Werewolf time. I think I like more Wharf.
Peter Port. Wandering Minstrel. That's right, Genials. Yeah. Does it really hurt the hexes here? Rather than for quest. Wabbit from the village.
Or a Wanted Woods.
The woods.
Like if you would like to get in the woods, you would want it. It's a Wanted Woods. Anyway, 10. 10 here. Could be like a second Wharf and then a Werewolf. All right.
For the quest that Ennis Smith was suggesting and we were saying just earlier. That's reasonable.
So again, awkward hand for hsypsx, and they don't have a Wharf in play. So yeah, it's looking like it's slipping away for hsypsx here. Lucky the game number 8 after all for Sillypotter.
So you play Gladiator first?
Yeah, with the last estate. Yeah. And then you can still pass the estate. To rub some more salt in the wood.
Maybe you keep it as Sillypotter estate?
I don't think so. I don't think you like care that much about gladiators proccing.
You can take here another 5 and gold out of quest.
might not thin, but you might as well just pass the estate.
Okay.
Like if hsypsx doesn't play Masquerade on their turn, they're stuck with the estate. It seems pretty good. Alright, go for platinum here.
Gold skier.
Alright, so yeah. I'm drawing the wrong report to add insult injury. Yeah, so maybe guide time here. Or perhaps that's another quest. Yeah, not sure. I like these golds.
I think guide was better there.
Yeah, like economy is not what like hsypsx deck isn't working because of not having enough economy. And like I'm not sure whether you even want a single gold in your final deck. Like a sillypotter is just like straight up skip gold, went into platinum.
Port and another platinum.
You're already overdrawing by at least 3, so don't really need some more draw yet.
They have enough draw.
They're adding more though.
And werewolf.
Alright, so
Time to pass.
alright, luckily
Masquerade.
drew a port with their Werf, so they do end up having a full turn. Alright, and they get to yeah, pass Masquerade, that makes sense. Probably
James Nails
trash.
pointing the don't trash Masquerade here.
Yeah, trash Masquerade and then play the second one, pass estate. So the last card is another copper, I feel. Yes. Could have trashed something else and then passed estate there, I guess.
I wouldn't werewolf work. The Winstrel wouldn't work for quest, but werewolf should work.
Yeah, it does. Was this a continuation of the WWE's Wandering Minstrel joke?
Yeah.
Or maybe that's counted as a gag instead of a joke. I'm not sure about the exact terminology of comical happenstances. Alright, so what do you do as hsypsx here? Like, you're kind of short on actions, I think. So yeah, some more. Like if you got more terminals, you kind of need more ports, right? Yeah, they do agree. And a third gold. Still not particularly sure about those golds, but let's see how it bears out for them. That's a passing copper, getting past a Masquerade. Neither player interested in masquerading anymore. Just a Mort at this point.
Do you trash this Masquerade or keep it?
It depends on like what you're planning. I think if you're planning on like getting more ports, do you have more terminals, and it's like if you have enough terminal space, then it's still draw. So that's exactly bad in your deck. But like if you get tight on action space at some point in the future, then at that point you probably trash your Masquerade or pass it again.
For sure. Right now, I think I would prefer another Warf and Platina. Maybe a gold from Werewolf.
Platina seems worse than Fortune to me. Although I guess you would need to buy a Gladiator at that point, which also spends another of your buys. So that's 11 plus 8 debt. So you could have probably spend 3 on the debt at that point if you do go on that line rather than buy a Guide over Masquerade.
If you take another Warf, we'll have 5 buys. Maybe worth considering Workers Village. Next turn, get a Fortune to have up to 7 buys. Lots of money.
I mean, Jane, hsypsx isn't able to like trash a Gladiator because the only Gladiator in the deck is in Sillypotter's deck. So, or is it actually?
But not worthy.
Attack from Deluded. Right, so no action cards.
Okay.
So probably just buying fortune then. Alright,
But we
that's
have
it.
only 7 coins.
It's police coming to get hsypsx for being deluded. Yeah, maybe those golds were actually good because like Sillypotter's overdrawing without like overdrawing, and like hsypsx is drawing their deck even with the golds. So yeah,
I'm not really sure.
I mean,
No, it's looted, it's not envy. Okay, right. Mistook the
oh yeah,
text.
you're gonna just like buy fortune this turn and probably nothing else. I just pay off a lot of that. Because you have 9 plus 6 is 15, 14 now. Charging copper, I guess I can see it. I mean, you can delay hsypsx's fortune by turn by delaying your own for a turn. Like the only difference, to me it seems, is that you don't have another gladiator in your deck, but you can like easily trash that with masquerade or pass it along. Question more fortune.
Out of the gold, out of the blue.
Right, so some good
Is he
draws.
living in a pilot?
Passes gold. Ooh,
1.
that's kind of hurt a bit. I mean, that's the downside of thinning coppers a lot in masquerade games, but at some point you just have to do. I think Sillypotter is decently far ahead.
It's lady ahead.
Got better deck control. Got a platinum, so fortune is more potent. So actually it chose to trash the gladiator rather than pass it.
Maybe they're worried for.
Gladiator is just.
Hopeful
I mean, gladiator is 3 coins for fortune. It's basically 6 coins in your deck, and you're like you still have port and 2 action left, so like you're not short on actions. So yeah, I think I agree with Nesmith. Smith, that's a bit weird, especially over copper, I think.
Okay, so we're going to hexes.
More hexes. Well, they could just buy another here. Like hsypsx, like Sillypotter is overdrawing on whichever wharf split they end up. So like you don't really need to draw as much. Like you probably do want to get this at some point, and they choose to do it here. Discard.
Oh, his pick has 2 warps, okay. So.
Yeah, so this card probably not doing that much or hurting that much. Perhaps it means that they have to play this war for draw. But they have to regardless. And I just
we'll get
a goal.
Gold. Gold comes and goes.
Do you even play the masquerade here? Probably not. Like, it doesn't really accomplish much. Like, you're gonna pass copper, you're gonna return copper, so doesn't really.
It's not.
Accomplish
anything. 15, 16, 20, 40 coins, 32 coins, and 4 buys. 2 and 4 buys.
Yeah. Maybe want to get some platina, perhaps?
6 buys.
Like platina is basically 10 coins with fortune.
I think there's. Well, platina will help you to get up to. 25, 15 coins.
Is there pilot here? No, right? No. Like, there's. No, fortunes are too expensive. Never mind. You don't have enough buys for a War of Masquerade, so. You do need to be cognizant of buyouts, I'm pretty sure. Like, if you don't get points. Like, can Sillypotter pile if you don't get points? Or they short buys? They've got.
I mean, they have 4 wharfs, one workers' village.
And
It's
a
5, 6.
fortune.
They have 7 gains and a fortune 7 gains.
So 8 gains is 1 short.
Yeah, 8. 8. It's 4, 5, 6, no 7.
Right. 6 additional, so 7 gains. Yeah. So
7.
No way to pile out. So it's not required for hsypsx to get a points lead, but so they probably need to be thinking about. That game's probably gonna end in like 2 more turns, I reckon. But like if you get 2 5s and 2 colonies, you can't like increase your payload. I kind of want platinum because platinum is basically like a colony on itself, right? But then like this was their double dwarf turn. It's like they will have fewer draw, and they already had to play the royal for draw. So do you want some mana to draw? I guess. Yeah, maybe you just get 2 werewolves because this is your like single dwarf turn.
Werewolves leaves them at 5. 5, it's 8, okay.
Perhaps double werewolf is a bit scary for piles because there's only 8. No, because we said that Silver only has 7 gains, so you can safely gain 2 werewolves for this turn.
About instead of one of those colonies, make it an alliance.
I mean,
Bobby, 6 top cards.
Yeah, I mean, hsypsx does already have 40 coins, but they just had to pay off 8 debt this turn, so they already have enough for 3 colonies.
Okay.
So the copper isn't really doing much.
In order to quad, they would need 2 coppers and Shamrock. Because they have 20 plus fortune, it's 40.
Yeah.
5 colonies, they need 22 coins.
That's so nobles for a bit of reliability and a bit of points. It's pretty nice. Not sure actually how much money sillypotter has in their deck. They've got 1 platinum, 1 gold, and the rest are coppers. So sillypotter actually does has fewer money or less money in their deck, I think. Huh. So maybe hsypsx.
Wondering or.
There's a silver for the possibility of quad colony. All right. So if they draw, which is a sizable if, I think, they are able to quad colony. So I'm pretty sure sillypotter cannot triple or cannot quad.
Sillypotter's money. Actually, they have 3 out of the gladiator.
Oh right, gladiator. So
They had 14. They had 14, but they would be 12. I mean, it's platinum, 3 coppers.
So they had to pass a gold, but they gained a copper off of the masquerade.
9, 14. What? 9, 12. 12 coins, 15 coins. They have just only 30 coins.
So platinum gold, 4 copper, 12, yeah, 15. I agree. Why do they gain some more money here? Oh no, they gain ports. Oh, hsypsx passing ports to not. Because if they pass copper, then Potter can. But it still can't triple colony. That is quite bold. I guess passing copper, passing silver, yeah. I don't know, that seems too greedy to me. Your bluff? I don't think this is a spot to be bluffing. I mean, if you pass silver there, then you enable sillypotter to triple colony. But they can see also easily double colony on your next turn. So.
28 money.
But how do they only have 28? No, they passed the copper, right? So they had 30 minus a copper is 28.
Game, the lucky number 8 game for sillypotter could be.
So it can't really gain any amount of colonies because of the quad threats. So then what do you do?
28 double province is 22. Have 16 left. No wait. And you have 12 left.
I think hsypsx has 48 now, so not quite enough for quintuple alliance even.
Yeah, this will take quite a bit.
So hsypsx has
go big with alliance.
3 ports and a workers village left. So 4 villages out of 18 cards. Oh, and a nobles, but they would need to draw nobles plus a draw card.
Alliance, platinum, nobles, silver. Maybe workers village in his mid or no? Okay, second alliance. So we take a wandering minstrel right here. So the shuffle out of this. Get these ships out of the way.
Sorry. So you have overdraw by 8, but you added 12 cards to your deck, so you kind of need some more draw. I guess you do. No, never mind. You've played 3 wharfs this turn instead of, and you only had 1 wharf coming in here, so actually have a bunch more overdraw. I would like some reliability. Werewolf, Masquerade for draw. Yeah. And Misery isn't doing too much, and Bad Omens. Oh well, yeah, Bad Omens works. Wait, what? How are they? Oh, there's only 1 copper left, so they actually didn't draw 2 coppers. But yeah, Bad Omens did honor to its name.
So sillypotter getting the allies, the spirit, just as Genial says. Way.
Yeah, Bad Omens certainly was. So yeah, what do you do as hsypsx? Just cry a bit inside, probably just maybe quest, and then. I mean, this is the problem with hsypsx tech, right? They have like only 5 villages and only a single wharf coming in, so. I guess
you have the draw down there.
Like you could choose.
And you have nobles, port.
There's 3 ports, a workers village, and a nobles. And then
ports and nobles, wharfs, and workers village.
So you kind of have to bank on this werewolf hitting envy, I think.
And you're nobles and
nobles, yeah.
Guy? Okay, no nobles.
No, Guy doesn't really do much. I think like next turn is definitely going to be in that last turn, so I don't think Guy is going to do anything. Curse, well, doesn't really do much.
Yeah. Well, black being nothing, so we pass Masquerade. As first state.
Depending on the order of these 5 cards, like The passing of the port might have messed him up. I think it did. Yeah. Yeah, I mean they did add like six green cards to the deck.
12 stop cards in total, so and they had, you pointed out, just 8 draw. 8, 11, so it's, well, they're running through, and it's a smoke.
Yeah, I mean, buying Wharf does have the hidden downside of lowering the Wharf pile, which like I don't think that mattered at the point where they bought Wharf over Wharf, but like yeah, hsypsx did gain a bunch of gold relatively early in the game, which yeah, Wharf might have been
not finding
better.
fortune.
I mean, they still got 3 draw for 4 cards, so. Passing a state, yep. But they didn't. They didn't.
GG.
Oh, they're playing on passing the curse here, I guess.
Yeah.
I was confused why they didn't just trash it, but yeah, slightly better. You have 6 provinces.
Oh, he drew.
That's
Click.
12, 17, 24, 26 times 2. Yep, that's enough. All right.
And it was the lucky number 8 game for sillypotter.
All right. All right.
Well, congratulations for sillypotter making into the next round.
Yeah, to the semifinals.
Semifinals getting closer. So who will be facing? I don't recall if chat could be so of them.
All right. All right. Well, good luck to sillypotter in the semifinals, and hsypsx, congratulations on the reaching quarterfinals. A good result, nonetheless. And thank you all for watching.
Top 8.
Yeah, thank you all for watching this commentary, and I hope to see you all again soon. Goodbye.
Yes, soon.